All right, everybody. This is week 3. We're doing it. Welcome back to the Sterling Chess League podcast. This week, you can see that I have a special guest, and for the first time, it is not a graduate of Sterling High School chess. It is one of our coaches for Sterling Chess. Everybody, welcome Mr. Brian Brooks. Hi, Coach Brian. How's it going?
Hey, Doug.
Well, you yourself have been playing in our league, and I think that might be a difference also, as you're the first guest we've had who's actually a player in the league with us.
Oh,
So,
that's cool.
yeah, so far we've talked to 2 graduates, and so here's the rundown for today. It's what we've done in the past, and we'll keep going here. We're going to talk to you for a few minutes, and then we're going to take a look at what the results were from this week's games. We're going to go over one game from each division. We're going to look at the standings and where everybody is at. We are going to look at two games, like I said, and then we'll reveal the new matchups for this week. So what do you think? Ready to go?
Sounds good.
Okay. Well, for starters, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put up, I've done this with our 2 previous guests, and I'll do this with you now. I'm going to show you some pictures. I'm going to walk you through memory lane.
Yeah.
And I want you to maybe talk to us because this is different. You obviously I didn't meet you as a student, as a middle schooler, things like that, and that's normally how I meet our players is through their middle school experience. But this is the oldest picture I found of you with our program, and looking at the players and the uniforms, I can kind of spot what's going on here. I think this is from around 2017, 2018, that area where Jonathan, we've got our top 2 boards here, Aiden Munoz Ripley, Jonathan Godemaler, Matthew Valentino. So Jonathan and Matthew, and those would be juniors. I believe Aiden and Tyler Hansen are sophomores in this picture.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
anything,
2017 is when I started. I played, you had your Sterling Open,
Mhm.
and you had a section for non-students. So I joined that. I did pretty well and sent me an email a week or 2 later asking if I'd be willing to help out once in a while. And I said, sure. So it's been 7 years now, and I've really enjoyed the experience. In fact, I'm even right now, I've got a couple of correspondence games going on with Jerry Miller and Aiden.
okay,
So that's fun.
that's awesome. Yeah, Jerry Miller, he's one we might have to get on the program. In week 1, I think week 2 with Nick Byington, he was referred to as one of the godfathers of Sterling chess, which my mind still is. So yeah, thank you for explaining that because um it was just so coincidental. We got to meet you, and we've been very lucky that you've come on with us for so long. Maybe explain where do you commute from so everybody's kind of aware of what's happening here?
So I live over in Mount Morris, which is close to Oregon, Illinois. It's about a 35-minute drive to Sterling High School. If I time it correctly, I don't get the crossing guards. Um, so, yeah, and I've got, for those who don't know, I'm the director of a nonprofit in Oregon, which is my full-time job. I'm also I'm married. We have 5 kids. Um, one has special needs, and she lives with us. The other is just finishing up his junior year in high school. And then our son Isaac, who I took to the 2017 tournament with me when he was in high school, he has just finished his sophomore year at Hope College in biology, chemistry with a math minor, hoping to go to med school. And then my other 2 kids, one is a police officer in West Michigan, and the other is married to a radiation oncologist up in Alaska. So my life is fairly busy,
Yeah.
but chess and backgammon have always been 2 passions of mine.
Mhm.
This is a nice way to scratch that itch on a regular basis.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously you're commuting, you're coming to us from a distance, and we very much appreciate the time you're giving. Like we said, it's been about 7 years. So I felt like, no contract sign or anything, but a one year deal was really what I was hoping for. So to get 7 has really been a blessing. So let me keep going with some of these pictures here and see what you think.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I remember that one too. That was the same year, wasn't it? Or was
Um,
that a year later?
think this was a year later because now Matthew and Josiah,
Yeah,
Nathaniel, Jonathan Verhulst, Jonathan Godmauer, those guys, Andrew Iverson there, they're all seniors in this picture.
we
And
took first to the division, right?
that's right. We won our only time ever, in 15 years of doing this that we've gotten a class 2A win. It came down to
Yes,
the very last round, and we somehow magically, out of 128 teams, got paired with the one team that was in our division, and we were vying for that title with. So that was helpful, and we
that's
managed to
cool.
win. So it was we had just lost a pivotal round 6 to our conference rival Huntley, which was an upset, and we were supposed to win that match and didn't. So it was a roller coaster of emotions
Yeah,
going from
yeah.
the lowest of lows. I remember sitting over at Donna's Deli and just thinking, no, we worked so hard. And then later that night, I'll never forget sitting in a Dairy Queen just in a booth by myself, but just watching the players and almost getting a little choked up just at, what we were able to do. So,
That's cool.
yeah. Here you go.
Oh, yes. The famous spiral staircase. Yeah,
The nicest tournament I think we've ever been to. I think this was the Marriott in Schaumburg, and this was the 2019 national event that we went to, and we took first place in the unrated division.
yeah.
Josiah Schmidt took home a third place trophy, biggest trophy I've ever seen for a chess award. And this one's still in my room. So yeah, this was a wonderful time. I feel like these end of season tournaments are more like a way to just give back to the players.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's give back to the coaches because by this time I'm sorely missing my kids and my family and
sure.
probably want nothing more than to be at home. But at the same time, we work very hard to fundraise and things like that. And this year we were able to take the kids out for steak and lobster. We treated them to a morning buffet. Like it was, and the rooms were beautiful and the ballroom was beautiful. And I think we played, the hotel has a hot tub and Andrew Iverson and I invented hot tub chess, you know,
Nice.
just things that you don't forget.
I tell you that, that kind of opportunity happens to very few people,
Hmm.
either students or adults.
Yeah.
You've got free room, free board, free entry fee.
Hmm.
Um, it's like almost like being a professional chess player.
Yeah.
You're just there to play chess and not worry about finances.
Yeah.
That's a really unusual uh, blessing or advantage that most people never get to see.
Yeah. And I feel like that's my job as the coach is figure out a way to do that for our players. And I've been adamant about that. And we've been lucky to find some wonderful sponsors over the years. I just, that's been my job as part-time fundraiser, we and stumbling into people like Sam Meyer with Edward Jones, who's helped us immensely these last 2 years. Aaron Graves, who supported us the last couple of years through River Ridge Animal Hospital. Just places like that that have been immensely helpful. I don't want to forget Mr. Gearing, who Scott Gearing, who supported us for a long time too. So there's been many people over the years. So all right, you get the chance to answer what Nick could not. What's in the box? Do you remember?
Well, I could make up a lot of answers.
You
I
could.
do remember one of those for the Secret Santa was Pepperidge Farm chessmen cookies.
Hmm.
I don't know if this is that one.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess we're gonna count that as a maybe. One more chance. What's in this one?
Oh man.
Yep. See, I told you, I mean, these were gonna be the hard
Oh,
today.
you know, they're such memorable gifts, Joel. I'm just shocked and ashamed.
Well, you've got a dinosaur here, so maybe that was what was in the box. All right, here you go. Just a couple more here, but what do you think of this one?
Aiden was always not only a great player, but also a great leader.
Mhm.
Very even keeled. I think the rest of the team always respected him. And you could tell he knows how to be part of a team because he respected the coach, respected you and Coach G, and just a really nice attribute to the team all around.
Mhm. Yep. He's the one I say I call Aiden the GOAT jokingly, the greatest of all
Yeah,
time. But he in my
yeah,
mind, I think because of that balance that you described, really just from a leadership perspective, a human perspective, a player perspective, he really drove the program in a different direction. And I remember meeting him, fourth grade or so at Woodlawn Arts Academy, and just thought from really first couple meetings he was just a special, special kid.
yeah.
So you two, I thought, just made a great pair, like mentor to player. And I think Aiden sort of carried that on to how he's helped other players. And he's even said that really, I had him on the very first podcast we did. And jokingly, I don't even think we mentioned this, but he said his only conditions were that he gets to help with the middle school program and that he gets to come back and coach at the high school once a week. And I'm
Nice, nice.
Okay, Aiden, you drive a hard bargain, but you know, you win.
Yeah,
So here you are in a more modern picture this year, I believe.
yeah.
Any memories from this game?
I think this was a team game.
Hmm. Hmm.
We were up against, what was it?
But it was Elias and Isaiah.
Elias? Yeah.
Yeah.
And was it Josiah? I
I think
forgot
it's
who.
Isaiah who you're talking.
Isaiah.
So two
Yep.
really,
And we are
really,
going over possible opening ideas.
yeah.
This is where I tried to impart my old man chess skills into young men.
Yep. Well, I guess I wanted to show these last couple because this is kind of how I think about you as far as just helping out our program right now, which is just coming in, whether it's playing or teaching, really, really valuable stuff that you're giving to our players. And I guess, and I have this picture here too, which we've shown before, which is again proof
Oh,
that you do this, that you come in and you talk to us about things. And I always get out the notepad when it's time. I really want to be there for a Brian Brooks presentation when I can because I feel like I'm learning. And I guess I will close with this part of the podcast by just saying, I think outside of chess, I think you have helped me. You're always there with some constructive advice for not chess stuff. It's really for coaching stuff. And I feel like when I need you, that's when you step in. And even for next year, I've already set a goal based on some of your advice, and you probably don't even remember because it might seem like a little thing to you, but it's a big thing to me. And I know how I get kind of my stomach gets twisted when we're in a close match, and there's really nothing I can do as a coach. And you just kind of remind me of that. Is that all our hard work is done here in the practice room and there's really nothing I can do beyond that except
yeah,
encourage kids and really be there for them. But I also need to just kind of probably let go in some of those situations, realizing I can't do anything. And their chess skills are beyond mine at this point anyway. So they're in the first seat, and I'm in charge of lunch and driving and whatever else needs to happen at a tournament. So
yeah. If they don't know it by the time of the game, they won't know it. So,
yeah. But anyway, I just want to say thank you for kind of keeping me level.
well,
So
thanks. Just mutual admiration society. I really, one of the things that brings me back over and over again is to see how you work as a coach with the students. It's really quite a special thing. So, thanks for letting me have a front row seat there.
absolutely. All right. Well, time to reveal what's going on in the
Hmm.
actual league. This is why everybody's here, is because they want to know what the results are. And really, Brian, I think the truth is everybody's tuning in to see if Coach Penne can get his first win. And The bad news is this is not the week. And I will, oh no, these might be the wrong ones
That's
because
from the week before.
that is a week before. Shoot. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, here we go. We got it fixed. Technical difficulties, but we're back and we have current results. And as I was saying, this is not the week for Coach Penny. I ran into the buzzsaw that is Ryan Austin, and I played okay. 30-minute time. I know you joke about it, Coach Brion. You say it's a blitz game. For me, that's really really true. Is that I love one of my favorite things with chess, and why I love the U.S. Amateur North so much is because the time control is 90 minutes with 30-second increment, and I'm almost embarrassed to say I did run out of time once, but I truly kind of
Proud
revel.
of you, Joel. Proud of you.
Thank you. On brand is what I am. When I say take my time to the kids, I mean it.
Yeah.
But no, I struggle a little bit with time control of 30 minutes. And there was a move in our game where I thought I was going down a piece, but just couldn't find the path to save it. And anyway, it just ended up, I did go down a piece, but after reviewing the game, it was helpful to see that, there was a way to save things and hopefully just learning for future times. But anyway, in our Pineapple division, we had currently this is a double forfeit because I haven't heard from either player, but this is our first one like that. But otherwise, Chris Peterson moves to 3-0. Jalen Mullen goes to 3-0 after defeating Aaron Rivera, and then Kinnick Kiersgaard has his first loss of the uh, young season here against Austin Jacob. That was a good match as well.
Nice.
So in the Rock and Sock division, you took on Xander and won. We had Elias and Sam who drew. Did not get to go over this game because it just came in last night. And then that's a good draw for Sam, I will say.
Yeah.
Elias, very strong player in this division, and just based on maybe Sam losing to Martin, I said to myself, well, that's I picture Elias right now as probably a stronger player. But so for Sam, I thought that's a fantastic win. He said he had some winning chances in the end game, but again was low on time. Martin moves to 3-0 against Jacob. That's one of our featured games. And then, like I said, Ryan took me down and played a really, really solid game. I spent all this time opening prepping because I am the white pieces and I'm opening E4. And Ryan, for eternity, seems to have played the Carol Khan. But what does he do? He plays Sicilian.
Nice.
Oh, way to go. Well played, Ryan. I commend you.
That's cool.
I know, right? Anyway, here we go. We got two games to hit today. And our first ones here, let's see if I can get there with you. All right, Brian, on your screen, you see our first featured game here with Martin and Jacob.
Yep.
All right, feel free to jump here at any time. I have some bookmarks here, but honestly, move 28 is my first one. So if you have anything before that, just chime in and let me know here, okay?
It's so good.
Our aforementioned Carol Khan. Here we
Yeah.
are. So Martin is playing the black pieces, playing the Carol Khan, and Jacob is playing the white pieces. On the screen where I can see the move order.
So far, it's all pretty standard stuff.
Yeah. I think again that's why it really wasn't until later in the game when
This is where I think, yeah. If I was black in this situation, I wouldn't fiend Keto.
okay.
Usually you play E6.
Mm-hmm.
Because the E6 C6 pawn chain is really, really solid.
Yeah.
And any of it. So yeah, I just fiend Ketoing's kind of a different theme you're introducing into it.
Okay. Hope Martin is watching because yeah, maybe that's a great piece of advice for his future repertoire. It's got a bit of a mark from the analyzer, and it does seem opening up your king side is a little risky, but
Yeah, it's not, again, it's not the spirit of a Caracan.
yeah.
So he gets rid of the bishop pair, which is
Yeah.
good news. He also, by capturing back, I know there's a pawn sack, but that C3 pawn is now becoming a bit of a liability for white, possibly.
Yeah. Oh, and right on cue, we've got a target there.
Yep.
Here's where things, I think the game centers around that C3 pawn, Brian. So you've got a good, view here. Martin, bit of a tactic here, right? We've got
Yep.
pin, so can't capture.
So we got his pawn back.
Yeah. So we're close here. We're close here. Here's where okay, so right here for black, and I want to turn off some things here so we're not showing, I don't really want to show those arrows here.
What move are we on?
28.
Okay.
So right now, let's get that off the screen. So black chooses to do this. And
seeing that the pin is pawn, the pawn is pinned. Yeah.
right. I guess what I thought when I saw this was after this exchange, black willingly gave up the passed pawn in the center. And I just wondered your opinion on that. Because after this move exchange puts this into motion. So this right here, followed by this. I mean,
Yeah.
we're still, I mean,
still,
black is still up the pawn, but now does not have that center pass pawn. So I wondered what you thought.
well, right now you got the one pawn blocking the two.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it looks like a rather difficult situation to try to find a win in. Now it could be a win, but I don't know. What were your thoughts?
Well, after this move was made, maybe just to try to support that passed pawn where we could, maybe even just rook here would work, something like that. You're keeping the bishops on the board. I don't know. I don't know if I loved giving up that passed pawn. Like you said, maybe it's more difficult to find a win here. But in the end, I mean, both players have plenty of time, so it wasn't an issue of like simplifying.
Yeah.
So, all right, the game is going to progress a long way from here. We're going to go to move 41 here and see what happens. So,
Okay. Did you look at move 40, by the way?
it does say it's a big question mark here. This one?
Yeah.
What do you think?
F4.
Yeah.
I don't know, but when I went over it with the computer suggested for white, king F3 with the slight pull for black instead of F4.
Okay.
The problem right now is neither side's kings are involved in this battle of that passed pawn. But
Just,
I don't
yeah.
know what to say.
And just reading the analyzer here, even though Martin's up a full pawn, it's reading it as dead even.
Yeah. It's really, I mean, against best play for club players, being up an extra pawn can be a big difference. But usually in rook and pawn endings, that extra pawn doesn't always become as significant as you think.
Yeah. So this move here, we're about to see. Where am I at here? I did something with the evaluation here. There we go. Again, so Martin gave up that pawn in exchange for one on the other side of the board.
Yeah.
Again, thoughts here are just now we're very even and maybe even harder. Would you have tried harder to keep that pawn or no?
Yeah, I'm just wondering if you could have instead of king to f2, if you could have played king to g2. I'm not sure because king to g2 keeps the h3 pawn.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what king to f2 accomplishes.
That's for Jacob here. Okay.
Yeah, for white.
I guess I was saying for black, would you try to hang on to the pass pawn there as black or no? Do you think Martin's decision here to take is
No,
good?
I think the pass pawn is really his only chance.
Okay.
That ice that because it's so far away from the white king,
Mm-hmm.
um, it's his only chance.
Okay.
So I do wonder if
I almost wonder if
could have simplified the pawn chain.
I was gonna say here.
The G takes F4, I think it was.
Okay. Yeah, and almost feels like double trouble at that point.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll move a little quicker here. I just got a 10-minute warning.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's me for having the standings off here. So here we go. Martin's still hanging up a pawn. I look at White's time here. White has plenty of time, 24 minutes. And
That's crazy.
I know, right? This would be me at like 2 minutes for sure. But right here, White is supposed to have drawing chances in this game, and yet this move kind of swings things big time. And maybe we can help players understand why that is.
Yeah, I don't know. Should White have let the king off the back rank?
I think that's the issue here is White's placement of the rook needing to get to a more active spot. I don't think you're really able to do very much from here. A side check really isn't gonna. It allows. I think what it does is it allows us to
It
get
was black to get into
king,
the game.
yeah, into a more active spot. And so what happens is this.
So now black can double up on that pawn.
Mm-hmm. Does not take the opportunity to do it,
Yeah, now it's white that's on the edge of the board with this king, not black.
and
Well,
doesn't go
soon to
that way.
be. Yeah. Now it's a lost game. There's no saving it.
Funny you should mention that. White will have an opportunity here. And I think Martin's doing a great job of offering trades.
Yeah.
Obviously, White can't trade rooks in this position. Okay. So again, giving opportunities to trade, smart. And White's doing a good job too of really pestering.
Yeah.
So here it
What
is.
was that?
You can see here, White actually has drawing chances in this position.
Yeah.
I don't know if you looked at it, but I
What
believe
move are you on now?
what's that?
What move are you on now?
We're into this game on move 64.
That's what I was wondering.
So I believe it's simply White finding a pocket here for that king.
Yeah.
Or no, I lied. Eventually here. So there's multiple opportunities here for White to find this draw. But this was not it. And
No.
even at this point in the game, right here, this is a fun one. Because I believe we've got a classic Zugzwang
Yeah.
coming up here. Do you feel the same way that if we get king to here, this is forcing just black into a, what do you do?
Yeah. Yeah. Where do you go from there? It's kind of a fortress.
It is.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
And this was, so I was anxious to see the times here. So this move here followed, I think, if I'm guessing, maybe White just thinks it's kind of a hopeless lost position. You're down 2 pawns, but in fact, if you just take time to look for it, because this move took 2 seconds, there was 2 seconds of thought here, and now we're down a lot. Right now, Martin can really do, now it's checkmate. So,
Yeah. That's one of the frustrating things about end games is in a middle game or opening, you make a misplay,
yeah,
you go down by a pawn or two evaluation. In an end game, you can go from dead even to dead loss in one move.
yeah. All right, we'll make this next one speedy.
Okay.
Here you go. We've got kind of even on move 7 here. I just
So
said,
just
go
real
ahead.
quick, my thought with this game was Black has to be playing this knowing something of what he's doing because you don't just grab a quote free knight
Yeah,
and not know there's the D4 is coming. I think at this point Black ran out of book,
okay.
and if this is a highly tactical position,
Hmm.
you got to know what you're going to be doing, or play for something less tactical.
So yeah, Rui Lopez is full of them, right?
Yep.
So yeah, I thought the opening stretch was really well played by both players here. You're right.
Yep.
Just that
Yep.
knowing this point in the game and knowing that this fork is here,
Yep.
I thought was very mature for our 7th and 8th grade players playing this game. I thought
Yeah.
this was well done. But you're right. I think
And ironically,
go ahead.
I mean, you know you're going to lose your piece back. So you could have pushed A6 to move the bishop out of the way.
Hmm.
And then you take that pawn with the bishop, Black does. And then when the queen takes back, you retreat the knight to C6,
Hmm.
and everything's fine. It's
Yep.
an even game.
Yep.
But
So good to
Black
know
panicked.
for Aaron moving forward that that move A6 could have been a really nice
Yep.
addition to that opening repertoire.
Now he'll know his opening one move deeper.
Yep. This was on my list of kind of like opening do's and don'ts here, where I thought um, moving this piece, here kind of set Black up for some issues later. And you'll see again, where's that knight going? We don't like to move pieces more than once in the opening. Not only that, but then just where does this piece go from here, right?
Exactly.
Um, you're gonna leave yourself with an H6 knight, which is what's the advantage here, right? And you can't even now we might as well be a piece down. That knight has nowhere to go.
Yeah. And it's kind of funny because in a way, White takes the knight out of its misery.
Yeah.
But at the same time, White's just killed Black's castling safety.
Right. It was, I thought, well played from Jalen here to really open up that king side. Now, White just opened up their own king side, so why not, right?
Yeah, that was a weird move to me.
Yeah, to me too. Opening do's and don'ts here is king safety is on that high list of priority.
Yeah.
See where we're at in the move order.
Yeah, did you see this? I'm sorry, I know you're running low on time.
No, you're good.
Retreating that bishop was actually a blunder, but it's hard for the average player to see.
Mm-hmm.
The player could have
Oh yeah. You're right. I saw that. Yeah, where we missed the tactic there.
Yeah.
Simply taking, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because the knight's pinned against the rook, and now the queen is overworked. And you got to also be aware that E file comes open, and the king is still stuck in the middle. There's a lot that White has going on.
Yeah.
He has to juggle.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing us back to that. Okay.
Now the position's dead even again, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, we're real close here. All right. So the move upcoming here is, and Aaron did take, I think, the bulk of his time, there was not a ton of time taken on Aaron's side here, but he did take a bit to think about this move here, about taking. Brian has found something really interesting in this position. So, Brian, if you want to talk about it just a little bit.
Just a couple things, I guess. One is that pawn looks threatening, but it's pinned behind an unprotected queen. So it's not going to do anything this move. Black is really on the ropes But the one thing, if you look at the position, the one thing that black has going for him is that G file, which white helped open up by G4. So look at the number of pieces focused on G4. You've got the rook, the pawn, the knight, and the bishop.
Right. All of
All
them.
focused on that pawn. You've only got 3 defenders. You got 4 attackers. So let's see what happens if we push that through and attack. So H takes G. Yep. Now whichever takes G.
Yeah, it could be
Knight
whichever.
takes, pawn takes, and now anybody can find that tactic.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty.
Double attack on the queen and the king.
Yeah. And suddenly,
And
black
yeah,
is.
so what I was thinking, Joel, is in defense to black, I've lost a lot of games where I'm under pressure and I go back at the game afterwards and the computer finds a tactic that I should have been able to see if only I had focused on my chances instead of focusing on the
Mhm,
other side's threats.
mhm.
It's like if you ever do mountain biking, you're told if you see a rut on one side of your trail and a stump on the other, focus on the path in between. Don't focus on the rut or the stump, because that's where you'll go to. And in this case, don't just get focused on trying to thwart white's potential threats. Look for threats of your own and see where that takes you. It's hard to see,
Yeah.
but it's there.
Yeah. And that's why we pay you the big bucks, Brian, because you have insights with the analogy of mountain biking, etc. That's good stuff. All right, let's keep this going here. We talked about this move here, and you empathized with black. It does feel, white has got this long open or semi-open file where the bishop is pinned. The knight is in some trouble here with not a lot of great places to go. You've got doubled pawns here. And we talked about this move, and my initial gut reaction was we're taking a position and making it worse by offering the trade, which is going to double up another set of pawns.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's hard to find great moves for black other than the one that you just mentioned.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get why Aaron may offer this trade here, and it does happen. So
Yeah.
so
Now
after
the tricky part is count the pawn islands.
mm-hmm. We do
Black's
our
got,
analysis, which in the room we have named spam, right? We talk about space,
yeah.
pawn structure,
Oh,
activity,
yeah.
and material, right?
Yeah.
Are 4.
Yeah.
And you just mentioned the pawn islands, and white has 2, black has 4. So even though material is even, the analysis is reading it an advantage of at least 2. And again, in the broad scope of things for younger players, it might even be bigger.
Yeah.
So the pin is not really exploited here because, well, yeah, it is. So here we go.
Yep.
And then I thought the last point we're going to do in this game, Coach G runs a segment for us in our practices, and it's called Stop Before You Chop.
Yeah.
And for black, I brought up this move as one. It's like stop before you offer an exchange.
Yeah.
Black offers the exchange of rooks here. What are your thoughts?
I can see why black. So I think what black is thinking is I don't want white's rooks coming down to the 7th rank.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to stop F7 somehow.
Right. We don't want this because, yeah, then we've mentioned we do all the time at practice where rooks are their most powerful.
Yep.
Yeah.
But then what you got to say is, I'm down a pawn. My pawn islands are a mess. Do I really want to exchange off rooks? Because something's going to give too quick. So then you got to ask yourself, what's the other way that I could stop rook to f7? And there's two possible ways. I think either one of them is fine. Do you see them, Joel?
Well, two obvious ways are king, possibly rook.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
So if you move the rook up, both back ranks are protected. If you move the king over, there's no chance of doubling up on that rook, on that isolated pawn very easily, because there's no white pawns
Yeah.
come as a lever against it.
To me, it feels better to put the rook up
Yep,
instead of the king because then I'm just pinning myself behind my pawn.
sure.
But I don't know if either, I mean, they're both probably about the same.
Yeah.
So anyway, game continues like this, and we'll just see the end here. But Jalen doesn't take here. He just is probably planning to double up his own rooks. That would be my guess is that his next move is probably slide over and press that advantage.
Yeah.
Aaron doesn't leave him the opportunity. And again, this is where, the stop before you chop, you've got white has huge advantages in pawn structure
Yeah.
where trading down the rooks just seems like a daunting task here now for black to recover.
Yeah. I mean, I think either way, um, black is going to have a hard time
Yeah.
holding this game. I don't think rook takes f1 check seals his fate, but it just doesn't make his job. It doesn't give him any creative opportunities, really.
Yeah. And so let's see how we'll just kind of go fast here, but how does white finish this off? Because for middle school players, this can be a hard task too, is how do you just finish a game?
Yeah, yeah,
Because
exactly.
pawns and rooks are always tricky.
Yep.
I think this seals it for me anyway, is to look at you talk a lot about outside pass pawns,
Yeah.
right? And I think white has the capability to create one and black's king is just too far off. So,
I mean, outside passers, you got the king has to travel so far to stop it.
and the king is not in the square of the pawn. So,
Yeah.
should just
That's
be
a
a home
joke.
run.
Yeah. And I give white credit for not taking the pawn. I
Yeah,
think it was a good
absolutely.
move because that would have put the pawn inside the square.
Right. So that's all we're going to show for this game. But I thought Jalen tactically just did a nice job of kind of finishing that off fundamentally, just going. My first ever chess coach told me passed pawns must be pushed
Yep.
and
Yep.
creating them, we did it. So push
Yep.
that home and get your queen and game over.
That was a really rich game. That was fun
Yeah.
to
A lot of depth for a middle school game. And again, we go through the games that we can, and I try to pick the most interesting ones of the week, and those were the ones we chose. So
yeah,
credit to Aaron and Jalen for playing a great game here.
yeah, exactly.
All right, Coach, we're wrapping it up. We've
Well, it's
gone
been
for the
fun.
record. This is what happened when two old guys get together. Is we must have talked a little too much here. So here's what's happening. The standings. Here's where they're at. You, Coach Brion, are tied with Martin atop the Rock and Sock division. How does that feel?
That feels insecure.
Okay, good answer. I'll remember that when you see the reveal for the matches here. Elias is not too far behind.
Yeah.
Sam's there. Ryan is there. Jacob has one win, and again, Coach Penne and Xander still have to get off the zeros. On the other side, our seventh grader, Jalen Mullen, leading the pack with 3 wins. Chris Peterson, 3 wins, and then Kinnick and Austin are hanging in there too. So, and we have 3 players that still need to get a win on that side of the division.
Yep.
All right, remembering what you just said about feeling insecure, here are this week's matches where you and I are deadlocked
Oh,
in a
nice.
chess battle to the death. So, you're the white pieces. So I know what you're going to play, at least as far as move 1. But beyond that, I don't know. But if you do want to surprise me with a E4 move, I'll be happy to entertain that. Just throwing it out there.
I'll tell you this much, and I probably won't play it. I have been known to play E4 when I know my opponent always responds with the Sicilian,
Mm,
because I have my own thing that I do that's off book.
okay. Well,
But I
here,
won't do
I'll
that.
play
I'll
I'll
do
play
that
the
with you.
Sicilian.
Yeah, you
I'll do it.
promise, right?
Yep, sure
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
No, you know me, I'd play the French. So, but you
I
know,
think Elias is probably, personally, nothing against Martin. Elias is probably, I see him as the biggest threat to take that section.
oh yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Elias, great player, as we mentioned in this podcast already. Now, previewing um the pineapple division here, we have Austin versus Chris, which lines up to me as a very interesting match. That might be the headliner for this week, where
Yeah.
those two players on our current chess ladder at Sterling High School are kind of neck and neck. So that's one I hope both players take seriously and do a great job. And then I wouldn't put Xander out in this match. Xander playing Martin. And then I think Ryan versus Sam is, to me, is probably the most interesting match of the week as far
That'd
as
be a good matchup.
probably balance, especially Sam coming off a huge draw against the Elias. So we'll see how that goes.
Yep. Great. Looking forward to it, Joel.
Me too. I think, yeah. So anyway, thank you, Coach Brion, for joining us. It is a pleasure to have you on the show. And yeah, we'll meet in the ring later this week.
All right. Thanks again,
So,
Coach.
yep. Take care, Coach.
Yep. Bye bye.
Bye.